pretty much you're right, but we're so excited. It said Anthony called us and said, we want to do this thing again 30 years later. Sorry, let me shut up and give the mic to him.
How's everyone doing? Fantastic. 30 years ago, I wanted to follow a route of the Underground Railroad that I had documented as a young historian for a college history project. And I spent about 6 months researching the story of the Underground Railroad here in Montgomery County, which at the time had not been written down anywhere. In fact, I would learn later, maybe 2 or so years later, that at the time that I did my project, there was no local history that had been written about the Underground Railroad anywhere in Maryland, which was quite a surprise because Maryland was home to the greatest luminaries of the Underground Railroad. Can anyone name two? Yes. Yep. Harriet Tubman, Douglas, Josiah Henson from our own county. Yes. And so the work, though it was not intended to be this way, was somewhat groundbreaking. But as I started documenting the communities here in the county that had been involved and the people and the physical landscape, the roads, the rivers, whatnot, I began to see the Underground Railroad kind of manifesting itself on a map. And I thought, what if I were to follow one of those routes, walking across my county, but to neighboring counties and neighboring states, following the path, what would I find along the way? When I started the journey, I was wearing my historian's hat. So my plan had been to, which I executed, was to stop in all the towns along the way and always look for a library, a historical society, or a museum. Because that's where I thought the history of the Underground Railroad would be found. And in some of those places, I did. Go to historical societies. They had vertical files or clippings or local lore about one house or the other that was said to have been used on the Underground Railroad. But when I couldn't find those resources, I went to the post office, local post office, because the postmaster always knew who the oldest person in his town was or who the town historian was. And I got great information that way. In lieu of that, I would go to a realtor's office because they knew the history of the oldest, they knew the history of the oldest homes. And on at least 2 occasions, called up private homeowners that lived in Underground Railroad houses and said, let this guy into your basement. He's looking for the Underground Railroad. So the Underground kept revealing itself. What I didn't realize at the time, as I was traveling the physical terrain, was that there was a second Underground Railroad. And it had to be bound on the psychic or emotional terrain. As I went from place to place, people kept expressing their passion for the story of the Underground Railroad and sharing how that story manifested itself in every community along the way. Sometimes the name of an abolitionist was chosen as the name for a local school. In other places, a house formerly used on the Underground Railroad was now a food bank or a women's shelter, keeping with the history. And then there were some things that I just couldn't explain. I was walking through Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and stopped at a little country store. As I went in, I noticed a line of buggies, which I thought were from the Amish, who frequently give rides to tourists who are stopping there. And after I picked up the supplies that came out of the building, a man approached me and he said, "Excuse me, sir, would you care for a buggy ride?" And I said, "Oh, that sounds really great, but I'm actually walking to Canada and I'm late." And he said, "What?" Which was usually the reply. And I carried these little brochures that had a description of my walk, who I was, so forth and so on, which I usually shared with law enforcement because often I was traveling back roads at night, a stranger going through small town. And from time to time, I get pulled over by the police who would say, "Hello, who are you? And what are you doing walking through this town?" And I always wanted to say, "I'm exercising my constitutional rights." But I never did. I would just hand over one of these brochures. I called them slave passes, right? I got a pass. And then, of course, deceased would part and police officers would put out APBs across the counties that I was traveling through and tell people not to bother me, which was really amazing. But this one time, the what I thought was honest gentleman turned out to be a Mennonite. I handed him the pass, and he just looks at me, and he was silent, and tears started flowing in his eyes. And he said, "May I just tell you my story?" And he said that he was a member of an old Mennonite order called the River Brethren. And the River Brethren opposed slavery so vehemently that according to their community, it was a sin against God if you did not, that's right, if you did not assist a freedom seeker. And so the moral imperative was strong. And he said that he was in his 80s and that as a young boy, at the turn of the century, his great-grandfather was still alive and took him in his buggy along Christiana Pike. It's one of the roads that cuts through Lancaster County. And he showed the boy the 3 farms where he would drop off freedom seekers. And he said, "It would be my honor to show you, and then I'll take you to wherever you want to go." So, we went down Christiana Pike. He pointed out the three farms. It was another, it was just another dimension. And I encountered this again and again on the walk. So fast forward to today. We live in pretty challenging times. I'll leave it at that. But history is under attack. And I felt as a historian and a human being that I did not want to sit around and watch while that happened. I decided that I was going to walk to Canada again. This be the 30th anniversary of my first walk and the 250th year commemoration of our nation, as well as the 250th commemoration of Montgomery County, Maryland, which was established in 1776. I thought it was the right time, but there was still something missing. And that is, when I walked the first time, I walked solo. It was just me on the road. On the weekends, people would come out and up from Maryland and DC and be with me for a couple of days. But I was mainly on the road myself. This time, I wanted to walk with other people and bring as many people along the way as possible. So I'd like for everyone who's been involved with this project in any way to please raise your hands. is the team that is getting us on the road. And we invite anyone and everyone here to join us at some point. I know you're here today at it. You could come out at Spurter Points as well and waltz with us. I want to just close by saying what I hope to bind on the walk. I hope to bind the story of America, that arc of 250 years since our nation's founding. I hope to find the stories of individual people and families along the way who helped create American history. But most of all, I hope to find what people aspire for the next 250 years to be. The past is the past. There's not a whole lot that we can do about the past, but the future is ours. It's completely in our hands. And so we're going to be asking Americans, what does a future America look like? Because the revolution of 1776 was unfinished, and it's our job to pick up the past and move forward.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I told him yesterday, I was like, you better get your money.
Get up out of the way.
All right, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hey, I'm thrilled to be here with everyone today, and double thrill for Dr. Winston Anderson, the founder of the Sandy Springs Slave Museum. Yes. And it is insane to think that 30 years ago today, we were here for my first walk. The museum had just been open a couple of years.
Well, this was a working farm, and the community decided that they wanted to have something to represent them and something to demonstrate their heritage. As part of their heritage, of course, is the resistance. The resistance, and that's where Anthony Cohen comes in. He is leader of the resistance. He calls it liberation, but I call it resistance because the fight is still going on.
Wow.
And that's why we're so proud that he has continued in this endeavor. It's not only bringing light to the nation, especially in times of what's going on in Louisiana and voting rights acts and so on. It's the liberation along there. And so we have a warrior right here. Congratulations and bon voyage.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm supposed to exchange.
And this is one of my most cherished possessions. This was gifted to me by Dr. Anderson on that day 30 years ago. And I believe it was from Haile Selassie's palace.
Haile Selassie's palace.
Yes, in Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, right.
Yes, and it has been with me all these years and has done me so well. Thank you.
If sticks could talk. And I'm supposed to give you this here as another parting gift.
Whoa.
So your left hand won't get tired.
Oh.
So you can balance yourself for the walk good. Walk good with God. Walk good with God. Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
So much planning went into this day, and the only thing I wasn't prepared for was this moment. And all of you. So, when I started in May of 1996, it was just a date that I picked randomly on the calendar. But there was a plan, and that was that, all that April showers and all of that. I wanted to get on the road as early as I could in the spring without, the adverse weather. So I figured the first weekend of May was the sweet spot, and that would get me to Canada prior to the hottest part of the summer. And fast forward, I don't know how many years, but maybe a decade ago, someone got the clever idea that May the 4th should be Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Which is why I'm wearing this. And I will remind you, for those of you who know the Star Wars stories, it takes place in a galaxy not far, far away, in a time not long, long ago, right? Where there was a period of great darkness, and a whole bunch of freedom fighters had to step up to fight the forces of darkness.
The Rebel Alliance!
Yes! Preach! Yes. And we are still fighting that valiant fight. And I just want to thank everyone who every day, in your own small and profound ways, do everything you can to make for better communities, better families, and keep pulling people to task on those core American ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Someone else came up with them, but it's for us to deliver upon them. So I want to thank everyone. I'm probably doing this backwards. I should have had Paul on first, but I'm going to have Paul come out right now.
Yay, Paul!
Yay, Paul! He's going to say something.
I got to do the tacky job. The journey to freedom isn't free. We're still fighting the journey to freedom. When Tony called me just a few months ago and told me about this crazy, wonderful, glorious idea, he didn't have any money. He just had an idea. And he said, will you help me find some money? And I'm not going to take the time now with the momentum, but we've got folks here from AARP and Heritage Montgomery, and the logo's right here. Those, I know those aren't something anybody wants to talk about right now in this celebration, but without those folks, this doesn't happen. And we have a Pledge Per Mile campaign. So anybody can participate in the journey to freedom at whatever level works for you. A penny a mile, 750 miles is $7.50. Okay, $1 a mile is $750. We need anything, all the help that we can get. We really, really appreciate it. It takes a lot of gas to fill the truck and print the banners and feed the walkers, buy water for the walkers, all of that stuff. So if you have it in your heart and in your bank account to do what you can to help the journey to freedom succeed, please do it. Amen. God bless. Be safe.
All right, so we are going to start walking. Thank you.
All right, then.